Hi, and welcome back to my video. Oh no, welcome back to my channel. I'm Val, and today I have another video with, and today I have another video that I'm actually kind of excited for, only because it's a little revelation that I had, and so interesting. So I thought I'd just talk about it really quickly, which might not be quick at all, so we'll see. But I wanted to talk about the shadow a little bit, okay? And by the shadow, I refer to the parts of us that we tend to hide, the parts of us that are almost naturally hidden due to either trauma, suppressing emotions, parts of us that we don't really want to see about ourselves, or even situations and circumstances that we've, like I said before, have suppressed, that when they arise, we don't want to look at it. Yet those same emotions, those same circumstances, feelings are what controls us the most. So I wanted to talk about just the shadow a little bit and something that I've realized. So I'm realizing that the shadow kind of keeps us stuck in time. I know this is kind of an interesting concept, especially if you see time as something linear. I don't think time is linear. One of the teachers I was watching a lecture of, she describes it as a bell curve, an upside down bell curve actually. Time isn't just past, present, future. I feel like time is a bunch of sequences that contain a past, present, and future, but I didn't want to get too much into my perception of time in this video, but I feel like time as we've been shown, or as we know it on a daily basis, or a daily scale, or even second by minute by hour scale, is not all there is. And I think that when we think about time in that way, there's a lot that we can be missing. I feel like the shadow keeps us in different segments of time. So if there was something that occurred in childhood, when you're an adult and that shadow aspect of yourself comes up, whether it's a feeling of trauma or feelings of anger, I feel like you're taken out of the current time. And it's almost like, obviously you're not physically time traveling, but you're taken out of this physical time and placed back into childhood. So I recognized this when me and my sister were together, and I found myself getting really upset with her for some things. And I was noticing that I felt the way I felt when I was younger. I didn't feel like myself now. I didn't feel like myself in all the work that I had done. I felt specifically how I felt when I was younger. So I brought up to her, I'm like, why when we're together, it feels like we are taken back to childhood? And then I started, my mind starts processing all these things, and I'm realizing that's what the shadow does, and that's why it's so important to understand, to look at and heal the shadow, except, like I said in the last video I did, I'm always running around, I'm so sorry, but in the last video I was talking about acceptance. Okay, so accepting the shadow and accepting the things that we cannot change, and forgiveness, love, is what awareness, recognition is what heals the shadow, and so that we can stay in the present moment. Because at the end of the day, the present is truly all that exists. I did not want to touch on time in this video. I really didn't. That's a really convoluted topic for me right now, especially while I'm still processing things. So I'm sorry if this sounds so confusing. I just really wanted to talk about, my revelation on this topic. Anyways, going back, I was recognizing that not just in that situation, but even in other situations that have triggered an emotional response, mostly negative emotional response, I did not feel like my present self. I quite literally felt like I was taken back in time. And I'm like, whoa, this is so weird. And it takes me a minute to get out of it. I'm like, whoa, what the heck is happening? That did not feel like me. But that's just that shadow being illuminated with you, in me, wanting to come up and show me what's going on so that it needs to be healed. Okay. Also, another thing about shadow work is that I've learned that the way we have that shadow work has been kind of popularized and mainstream is that, we just need to take a paper and pen and go in and work on our shadow, which can be quite traumatizing. And I didn't know this back in the earlier days of me doing this. I didn't realize that could, one, be traumatizing, and two, telling other people to do this could hurt them rather than help them. It's not necessary to go find the shadow. The shadow is going to show up and reveal itself to you in the circumstance, in the time that it is called upon. In that moment where you're finding yourself fueled by lower vibrational emotions, that's the shadow coming up. I know what happens when I get into those really deep, low energy feelings, and at times it is kind of hard to come out of it. So I don't recommend you chasing the shadow. The shadow will find you when it's ready to be healed. And if we don't have the tools to conquer and to really accept what comes up, then we'll just be lost, and we'll be feeling really bad, and I don't want that for you. But I did want to acknowledge today how the shadow does keep us trapped in time, is what I feel. It keeps us from moving forward. It keeps us from welcoming and inviting positive change into our lives. So that was something that I learned, which was really interesting. I also wanted to share this quote from Gigi Young. I really enjoy her lectures. Oh my goodness, I feel like I have to watch them a million times because I find something new every time. I'm like, what? This is so wild. But she says, when we're challenged or when we feel under pressure, we end up collapsing inward, becoming who we truly are. We have a choice whether we change or continue collapsing. And that's what the shadow does, in my opinion. When we start feeling all this emotion, when we start feeling so much pressure, or like it said, when we feel challenged challenged by other people, challenged by our own emotions, challenged by the truth, we end up collapsing and going more inwards. And sometimes that inwards isn't as clean and clear as maybe you hope to be. So it's your choice to change and recognize where things are a little bit dusty and dirty, or continue falling, that's so awesome of a quote. So that's gonna be all for this video. I hope that kind of helped. I want to talk about the shadow a lot more, I think, this year, because as we experience more lightness and want to be in the light, the dark stuff starts to come up, and that stuff cannot be repressed, right? The dark stuff that is happening globally, nationally, wherever in your little world, in your body, that stuff cannot be ignored. And I recognize a lot of these things going on within me. And I recognize a lot of these things going on outside of me as well. So I kind of want to talk about it a little bit more, maybe in videos. Anyways, if you have any questions, let me know. But yeah, I hope that this helped just a little bit. I hope that, I didn't make this so confusing, because I just be talking and start to I don't know. Anyways, I'm so glad that you're here. Please feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. Please, I would love for you to stay. But I'm so grateful for you being here today. Follow me on Instagram at beyondquartz if you like. Shop my site at beyondquartz.com. And so much love and so much light to you. And darkness, because you can't have one without the other. But light always wins. Love conquers all. But we gotta acknowledge the truth that comes with the dark. Oh my gosh, I'm just talking right now. Anyways, I will see y'all next time. Okay, goodbye.